Welcome to the podcast, Let the Prophet Speak. We continue our study of the book of Joshua with chapter 13. Again, as I mentioned, the chapter 13 and the remainder of the book of Joshua consists of a lot of lists of place names which are important for the historical record, especially the historical record of the people of Israel and the land that they were to occupy on and off for many centuries following this time to record the history. But it doesn't make for exciting reading. But again, we might find scattered references here and there that I'm going to stop and dwell upon that shed interesting light and teach us interesting lessons. But some of these verses I may do a very limited translation of. So verse 1, chapter 13, V'Yoshua Zokain, and Joshua was old. Ba Bayomim, he was getting on in years. So at this point, the point is that the fighting is over. Yoshua has conquered all that he can. He's ending, his life is near its end. It's time to settle the issues that he needs to settle and be ready to move on to the next world. So Vayomer Adonai Elav, God said to Yoshua, Ato zokanto boso bayamim, you have now become old, and you have advanced in years. There's still a lot left of the land to conquer and inherit. In other words, as we saw before, there were many areas, coastal regions. There was areas in the southern coastal regions, the northern coastal regions, a lot of areas, especially in the north, a lot of areas that had not yet been conquered. Zos Haaretz Hanisharetz. This is the territory that remains to be conquered, called Galilot HaPlishtim, the area of the Philistines, which will figure a lot in the upcoming books of Judges and Samuel. Will encounter these Philistines quite a bit. V'chol HaGeshuri, and the lands of the Geshurites. Min HaShichar, from the Shichar al Psher al Pnei Mitzrayim, which is close to Egypt, V'al Gevul Ekron Tzafona, all the way up to the territory of Ekron in the north. Lakanani Techashev, they are settled by and are owned by the Canaanites that remain there. Hameshes Sarnei Plishtim, and the 5 heads of the Philistines, Ha'azoti, the Gaza clan of Philistines, Ha'ashdodi, the Ashdod clan, Ha'eshkeloni, the Ashkelon clan, Hagiti, the Gat clan, V'Ekroni, V'Avim, all of these clans of the Philistines. The 5 were until Ekroni. The Avim is another group of people that were still in their territory, which is part of the land that God had allotted to Israel. Mitaman, and from the southern side, Kol Eretz HaKanani, the entire land of the Canaanites, Uma'ara, and the cave, or Uma'ara is actually, it could mean a cave here, it's actually a place name. Asher La Tzidonim, which is settled by and owned by the Tzidonim, ad Afekah, ad Gvul HaMori, all the way to the border of the Amorites. V'Haaretz HaGivli, V'chol HaLavanon, Mizrach HaShemesh, Mibal Gad, Tachatar Hermon, ad Lavo Hamas. This is a northern area near the Kinneret. Another area which had not yet been conquered. Kol Yoshvei HaHar, all those that reside in the hill country, the mountain country, Min HaLavanon, ad Misravot Maim, called Sidonim, all of the people of Sidon. So this is again up the north, but towards on the Lebanese, what's nowadays the southern Lebanese coast. Anochi Arishem Ipnei Bnei Yisrael. God is saying, I will dispossess them before the people of Israel. However, Rak Hapileha li Yisrael benachla kasher tzivisicha. I do want you to when you divide up the land and give that portion to the Israelites as if they already conquered it, even though they're dividing up land that they didn't even conquer yet. So when you divide up the land according to the tribes and give out who lives where, some of those tribes will get that land that's up north that has not yet been conquered. Viata, and now Chalekas Aretz Hazos, now because you're getting on in years, it's time for you to divide up the land, Benachla, L'Tishas Hashvatim V'Chatzia Shevet Menasseh, to the 9.5 remaining tribes that have not yet officially received their portions. So remember, the 2.5 tribes had gotten their portions on the east side of the Jordan by Moses, and the rest of the 9.5, Joshua now has to divide up. Imo, with them, the tribe of Reuven and Gad have already taken their portions. Asher nasan lahem Moshe, that Moses gave to them be'evar yadim mizrach, on the east side of the Jordan. Kasher nasan lahem Moshe abed Adonai, like Moshe had given to them Moshe, the servant of God. What was their portion? It repeats again the boundaries of their portion, even though we said it last chapter. I'm not translating that. V'chol, in all the cities, in all the cities that they conquered from Sichon, the king of the Amorites, Asher Malach b'Cheshbon, that he was the king at Cheshbon, ad Gvul b'nei Ammon, all the way till the boundary of Ammon, of the Ammonites. V'ha-Gilad, and the Gilad area, Gvul ha-Geshuri, v'Machosi, v'chol Archaman, v'chol Bashan, Atzalcha. This is just laying out the territories on the other side of the river, which we did say already in the last chapter. We mentioned these boundaries. Og, all of where Og was the king, Bashan, who was the king in Bashan, Asher Malach Biastros Vedre, that his kingdom was in those two cities. Hu Nisham Yasar Farme came Moshe Verashem. He was remainder of the Rephaim people, and Moshe struck them down. Okay? On that side, V'lohorishu b'nei Yisrael et ha-Geshuri v'et ha-Ma'achasi, the people of Geshuri and the Ma'achasi and the Ma'achites, they were never conquered, even though they were in land that was supposed to be part of Israel. Vayeshev Geshur u'Ma'achas b'kerev Yisrael ad hayom hazeh. The people of Geshur and Ma'achas remained living amongst the people of Israel within the nation of Israel until this day, the verse says. So they remained there, their descendants remained there, they were never dispossessed. So those are the lands that needed to be divided up, and some of the lands that, except when he divided up the land, he did not give a portion to the tribe of Levi. He did not give them a portion because Ishei Adonai Elohei Yisrael hu nachla. So the sacrifices that are brought, the offerings that are brought to the God, the Lord of Israel, that is the portion of the tribe of Levi, because they received portions from the temple. So the people supported the tribe of Levi. Hu nachla sok asher diberlo. That is the inheritance that God has given him, as God has said to him. Okay. So verse 15, Vayitein Moshe l'matei v'nei Reuven l'mishpachosam. So Moshe then gave to the tribe of Reuben, according to their families, he divided up their land. Vayihi lahem hagvul, and this is their boundary. This is the third time we're mentioning these boundaries. Me'aro, so I'm not translating this verse. Me'aro er asher al sfas nachal arnon, v'yoir asher b'socha nachal v'chol hamishar al meidva. Cheshbon v'chol hara asher b'mishar divon uvamos baal v'vein baal ma'on. V'hiyatza v'ukademos me'fas v'kiryosayim v'sivma v'teretz ha'shacha b'har ha'emek. I'm at verse 20 now. V'es par v'ashtos ha'pisko v'es ha'yeshimos. So these are all the towns that were in that area that we laid out the boundaries of. These are the towns that were in the portions of Reuben. V'chol orei hamishar, and all of the cities that were on the plains. V'chol mamluchus Sichon melech Amori, everywhere that Sichon, the king of the Amorites, was the king. Asher malach b'Cheshbon, Asher hika Moshe, also because Moses struck him down. Ves Nesiei Midyan, and the heads of the Midianites, et Avi v'et Rekem v'et Tzur v'et Chor v'et Reva Nesichei Sichon Yoshvei Haaretz. And if you remember back that story, here the verse reminds us a little bit of what happened when Moshe struck the people of the Amorites. Among them was also V'et Bilam ben Ba'ar, the famous Bilam, the prophet, the son of Ba'ar, HaKosem, who was the magician. Hargu v'nei Yisrael b'cher v'chaleim. He was also killed amongst the war dead by the sword. Vayigvul b'nei Reuven, and the boundary of the sons of Reuven, Hayarden was the Jordan River, Ugavul, Zos nachlas b'nei Reuven l'mishpachosom ha'arim v'chatzrei, and this is the boundaries of the tribe of Reuven. So we've just listed the boundaries of the tribe of Reuven that had been given to them by Moshe. Now, Vayitein Moshe l'matei Gad, Moshe gave to the tribe of Gad, right? This is again still on the east side of the river. L'bnei Gad l'mishpachosom, also divided up according to their families. The following territory. We're going to lay out the boundaries, And again, this is quite repetitive, but I'll read it, but I won't translate most of it. This was their boundary, and it laid out the boundaries. ובעמק בית הרון ובית נמרוד וסוכות וצפון יתר ממלכות סיחון מלך חשבון הירדן וגבול עד קצה ים כנרת והירדן מזרחה. So this is a little bit more north. So he just laid out all of the boundaries of the borders of the children of God. I know this is not super exciting, but it is worthwhile to just think for a moment why this is an important document for the people of Israel who are at the land in which they live, to know, these are the areas that were apportioned to this tribe by Moshe. These are the areas that were apportioned to this tribe by Joshua. This is how it was conquered. This is an important historical document, even if it doesn't seem that exciting to read. Vayitein Moshe, I'm at verse 29 in chapter 13. Vayitein Moshe l'chatzi shevet haManasseh. Remember, Moshe gave the Reuben and Gad, which we just said, but he also gave half of the tribe of Menasseh, still on the east bank of the river. Vayehi l'chatzi matim beMenasseh mishpachosam, and they were also divided up by their families and got their portions. Vayehi gvulam, and their boundaries were, here goes, Mimachanayim kol Abashon kam mamluchos og melech Abashon v'chol chabos yoyer asher babashon shishim ir. This was 60 cities. V'chatzi agilad v'ashtaros v'adrei arei mamluchos og babashon l'vnei machir b'menashe l'chatzi v'nei machir l'mishvachosam. To those, the part of the tribe of Menasseh was of the children of Machir, the son of Menasseh. That portion of the tribe received the portion which we just laid out the boundaries of. Eila asher nichal Moshe b'aros Moav. These 2.5 tribes are the ones that Moshe gave their inheritances me'ever li'ardin Yericho Mizracha, on the east side of the Jordan River. And again repeated the emphasis u'l'shevet HaLevi, and to the tribe of Levi, lo nasan Moshe nachla. Moshe did not give them a portion, because Adonai Eloi Yisrael hu nachla asam. God, the Lord of Israel himself, is their portion, kasher diber lahem, as he, meaning God, has spoken to them, meaning the people of Israel. That concludes chapter 13. So we just mentioned the boundaries of the portions that the tribes received by Moshe prior to the entry into the land of Israel on the west bank of the Jordan. Thank you for studying chapter 13. Looking forward to studying chapter 14 together.